A lot of people are upset that the rioters in LA are carrying the Mexican flag around.
China is closely following the events unfolding in Los Angeles. We urge the government of the United States to ensure the legitimate rights of Californians. China reserves the right to intervene if situation on the ground does not improve. California independence. Free California.
Amazing viewer, I'm back again with another compilation, and I'm not here to talk to you about this riot, but I am compiling this video following what's happening currently in Los Angeles, California. It has got so many people by surprise, especially considering China's unexpected stand in this situation. And why was it unexpected? We are going to discover that in this video. The internet was truly stunned by this, since China promised to stand with California if at all the United States does not support their fight for freedom. Like the video for recommendation and then dive into this.
Okay, so now China is saying they will liberate California if Donald Trump continues this bullshit and doesn't protect the citizens of California. China is saying it will step in and protect California.
What a fucking twist. I don't think you understand. China, remember China? Ni hao. They are saying they are going to liberate California. This is serious. Just try to look at it from outside. The president deployed the Marines against the citizens. Do you know what the Marines do? They're not a joke. And yes, I am proud of the Marines, but they are misused. Now, the fact that a country that we have been told for so many years, since we are kids, they're communists, they're dictators, they eat cats. They are the one that kind of sounds like making sense right now. And I am a little concerned. And I wonder myself, did we switch to a different timeline or some type of twisted reality?
China and Mexico yesterday held a meeting over the LA protests against the Mexican migrants. And people in China are calling for the Chinese to intervene. This is a Chinese news station, and all over Chinese television, they are covering the LA riot, pushing it as some sort of California liberation movement, and that the Californians/Mexicans are being oppressed by the U.S. government. Now, the leaders of Mexico and Xi Jinping did meet last week. They discussed trade, but they also discussed the protests in Los Angeles. China took the side of Mexico, arguing for a freedom of protest and speech in the U.S., as China says they will defend the basic rights of humans, and that China defends the rights of protest and free speech against systems of oppression like the U.S. government. That's their words, not mine. This is a really big Chinese influencer saying China reserves the right to intervene. And this is what the Chinese media is also portraying this as, that China or Mexico could get involved and save California from the big, bad, evil U.S.
Now it would appear that China cares more about California than our own president. You know how when you're watching the news and you see something about America getting involved with a third world country? Used to. Of course, we don't do that anymore. But, you know, you're looking at the news and there's a country that's having some kind of conflict and we're sending in aid, we're sending in water, we're sending in whatever they need. Well, now China is trying to do that for California. Our country is so messed up under this administration that we need someone else, another country, to come in and help us. And that's exactly what's happening right now with China. China, it says they're keeping a close eye on the situation in California and are ready to take action if needed. Actually, it was peaceful in California. There was no issue until this administration, Taco, sent in ICE to absolutely disrupt and cause chaos throughout the entire state of California that has a 30% Latino population, and so a third of the state that has, 40 million people in it? They're all scared to death. They won't leave their homes. They're scared to go to school. They're scared to go to work because they think their children might get snatched up by these kidnappers in mass. So yeah, China's stepping it up and offering aid where our own government is hurting our own citizens.
Many tell me China care more about the citizens of California than our own government, than our own president. China, can you come and liberate Missouri? can you just come over here maybe to the Midwest, liberate us? Because we ain't mad at you. We still want to do, we here with you. Can you just come over here to the Midwest and liberate us too? I mean, help with and protect California too, but us too.
I believe that Gavin Newsom will use this moment to trigger California's secession from the United States. I believe this because as somebody who has lived in California for a very, very long time, I am deeply familiar with Governor Gavin Newsom. Beneath those large, shiny white veneers is a face full of fangs. For a long time, Governor Newsom has had a very profitable and very equitable trade relationship with China. And when the threat of tariffs were looming, he gave many assurances that he would do everything in his power to ensure that that trade relationship with China remained intact. And the Chinese government and Chinese business owners have invested very heavily within the entire state of California. Now, this long-standing and very powerful trade agreement isn't something that's echoed throughout the rest of the United States. This is a long-standing relationship between very specifically China and the state of California. Should tensions rise, I believe that the Chinese government would likely be willing to strike a deal with the state of California in order to help California preserve its sovereignty. I mean, I could just be theorizing, but since the state of California and the country of China are such strong allies, and considering the amount of money that is exchanged between the two, I don't think it would be too unusual if tensions were to arise to a boiling point for our big brothers overseas to step in, or at least offer some kind of assistance. To be quite honest, Gavin Newsom has been vying for a presidential seat, or at the very least, a seat of power that is a bit bigger than what he has for a very, very long time. This could be the trigger point for him getting everything he's wanted. I mean, on China's part, it would be very strategic to strike a deal with Governor Gavin Newsom in order to protect and assist the people of Southern California, again, should tensions rise and get to a breaking point. Now, I'm just an amateur folklorist who likes to yap on the internet about intersectionality across cultures and histories. But I also think I'm relatively good at pattern recognition. And I don't know, I feel like I'm seeing the build-up of this story and the reveal of this pattern between Governor Gavin Newsom and the great country of China. China and America have tense relationships and are not always friends, but China and California, well, it's a little bit of a different story when you think about it.
A lot of people are upset that the rioters in LA are carrying the Mexican flag around. Let's hear what the US government was saying during the peaceful 2019 Hong Kong protest when people are carrying the US flags around.
Resist Beijing! Liberate Hong Kong! Resist Beijing! Liberate Hong Kong!
I'd like to speak directly to the people of Hong Kong. America stands with you, and America will always support you. We hear you sing our national anthem. We see you carrying our American flag. This is a battle between democracy versus dictatorship.
It's a beautiful sight to behold, and I commend the courage of the people there for speaking out in light of China's actions in Hong Kong these days.
I'm not trying to be political here. I just want to encourage people to think critically. So next time, before you point your finger at someone, think about it. What were you doing in the same position? It's always easier to comment when the problem is not yours, right? You can always find this kind of people. When you're talking about the double standard when it comes to carrying a different country's flag in the US, they talk about in China, you can do this, you can do that. The question is very simple. It's not a tricky question. Is this double standard? I ask you, have you eaten food? You don't need to answer me, I just finished pooping, right?
This is something that we shouldn't leave out of this conversation. China's statement has added a global layer to what started as a local protest. And we know why they had to intervene. There's a lot to unpack here, from protest on ground to geopolitical reactions. What do you think about this, and what does it mean for California and for the country? Thank you so much for supporting Comfort for Life. Leave your thoughts in the comment section and let's have an interaction.